Chaps, welcome back to another video. Today, I want to be running through the reason why you're still fat. And we're coming into the start of the year here. 2025, do or die. New Year's resolutioners. I've had my inbox filled with plenty of inquiries. People that want to change, right? And this video right here might trigger a few people. There might be some snowflakes in the audience right now that get a little bit of butthurt from what I'm going to say. But if you're one of those guys that like it raw, like it real, straight to the point, and actually gaining value is one of your values, gaining value is one of your values, then this is the right video for you. This is it. This is where you're going to really understand why you're still stuck. So we'll dive right into this, right? There are too many pussies. First and foremost is what I'd like to kick off this podcast with. And you're probably thinking, Lewis, you've came into this podcast and you've called me a victim, a pussy, a snowflake. Well, it's probably going to get a little bit more intense as we continue throughout this episode. But what I'm trying to get across with here is the reason you're still fat is down to the fact that you're okay with being fat. You've actually set a standard for being fat, the same way as you've set a standard for, showering in the morning. If you even do that, you probably wouldn't leave the house without a shower or brushing your teeth. I know I personally wouldn't, because that's a standard. That's a standard of how I live my life. It's a principle in which I live by. Because without doing that, I would feel very grotty living my life. And if you're currently living your life with 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 pounds of body fat and up, then it's because you've set that standard for yourself and you're fine with that standard. You're actually comfortable living with that excess body fat and weight attached to your frame, even though you know it's slowing you down, it's destroying your confidence, it's leaving you low on energy, low in mood, fulfillment. You just feel awful in your body, but you know what? It's a standard you're happy living with. Otherwise, right, you would change it, because the way I look at it, lads, is if there is a problem in my life and I am the only person that has control over changing the outcome of said problem, then I would do everything within my power to change that, So you got to think realistically here. If you're not happy with how you look, how you feel, how you dress, how you show up, how you feel in the bedroom, if you can't even see your wiener when you take your clothes off, then something in my eyes would have to change if I was living in that way. But for a lot of guys out there, they are comfortable, they are satisfied, they are just plodding along in life, taking it as easy as it can be. They're comfortable, even with all of this excess body fat, even though they know deep down that is not the way they want to look or feel. And it's sad to think that in 2025, with all of this access to information, coaches, knowledge, everything that you could potentially want to learn about fat loss can be found at the touch of a button. But you've accepted the standard of being fat. You've accepted the standard of being mediocre. You've accepted the standard of looking how you currently look. And if you are willing to actually choose to change that, then you put the power back in your hands. But you know what? You don't need to. Nothing's telling you to. Your missus is, quite happy with you being soft because it allows her to be soft. Your friends are all relatively soft as well, so you can just be a bunch of soft baked potatoes and live in harmony with one another. And that might be the life you want to live. But for me, for my clients, for the guys that we work with, it's far from it. It's far from it. And yeah, you know what? Off the back of Christmas, we all ate a little bit too much. We started getting a bit softer, a couple of chocolates, a couple of cakes. The Christmas dinners came in, maybe drank a little bit of alcohol and stuff. And you came into the new year feeling a little bit kind of softer than your previously soft self. And you're starting to maybe think about changing it. But again, you don't take ownership. You don't take that full control over your life. And you don't actually put yourself in a position to think, now's the fucking time, let's change it. Because see, if I couldn't see my abs, I would be like, right, something's going extremely wrong here. Because that's a standard for me. I have year-round six-pack. I have a year-round athletic physique. Lean, jacked, strong, muscular. I hold relatively the same weight every single week of the month, every year of the month, whatever. Every day of the month, I should say. And I like that. I like the standard of living a healthy, high quality life where I look good, feel good, perform well, have the confidence, the self-worth, and I identify as a lean, athletic male. And if you identify right now as a soft, frail, fat guy, then that's your current identity, and it's up to you whether you zig or zag, whether you chop or change, whether you win or lose going forward. But you have to value the actual change. Otherwise, the set standard in which you've currently accepted will become the reality in how you live your life. And to me, that is crazy, absolutely crazy. And I'd hate to continue living a life where I'm not happy with how I look or feel, you know? And the fact is, if you are fat, overweight, carrying too much body fat, it's because you have essentially sold the opportunity for greatness for complacency. And you know what? There's no real pain. There's no real driving stress for you to actually make a change. You're just living a monotonous, comfortable, easy life filled with gluttony, simplicity, and generally just living day to day, nightmare to nightmare, you could call it, because if all of the guys we work with inside the program, when they come on board, it blows my mind how they've maybe let themselves slip into such a bad place at the start. It really, really does. It blows my mind. But then I remember where I started, and I was not happy with my state of affairs, my physique, my energy, performance, my confidence. So I took action and changed it because I chose to. And it's the same that goes for all of these guys that get incredible results with us. They decided to take ownership, get around the right guys, operate at a higher frequency, and just demand more from themselves. Because when they are in a state of pain and they know that change has to be made, and the current level of comfort literally outweighs the pain of change, then they just take massive, fast action. And so much can change in a very short period of time if you align yourself, if your intentions, your actions are aligned with an outcome. And this is where the magic does happen, because if you can now start living like your level 10 self and think, right, if I'm currently here, unhappy, soft, unconfident, carrying too much body fat, what would the level 10 version of me do? And this is when we go into identity again. We course correct our lives by acting in alignment with the very best version of ourselves. And you have to get very granular here, guys. Anytime I've seen huge results in my life, it's because I've gotten so visual with the outcome, and I've not chased it or needed it or wanted it. I've just acted. I've behaved my way to the outcome in which I want. But you have to get clear. How does he look, feel, think, perform, dress, show up, eat, train? What times does he wake up? What times does he go to bed? How much water does he drink? What supplements does he take? How does he live his life? Because when you have all of that there, guess what happens? It's just a gradual process of inputs and outputs and reverse engineering the steps for you to therefore start behaving your way to the success in which you want, through stacking self-worth, through personal development, and building yourself into the new version of which you want to be. Because when there's that element of pain, you've got a crossroads. You need to decide when enough is enough, and you need to decide who do you really want to be in this life, because you've only got one. Not two, not three. You think you're a cat with 9 lives. It's not the case. Guys, come on. You got to decide who you want to be here. And you've got to choose that you want more from yourself and from the life you're currently living. Otherwise, we both know things will get out of hand. And if you don't take action now, then these compounding habits, beliefs, and behaviors which have been ever present, which have got you into the spot you're in right now, will only manifest into worser, more brutal, more soul-destroying circumstances, because you know you're not who you want to be. You're living in a fat suit. You're living in a suit that is just weighing you down and stopping you getting the promotion, the job, the girl, the money, the lifestyle, freedom, and success which you truly want. You know it is not where you want to be. Because anytime I have not been on my path, on my purpose, I'm going to have a wee drink of coffee, guys. Anytime I've not been there, and I've maybe let my physique slip, or I've not been as on it with my nutrition, training starts to dip, my cardio protocol goes off, and I just start getting a little bit soft on myself. I end up not wanting to look at myself anymore. I stop looking at myself in the mirror. I stop dressing the way I want to dress. I start hiding myself more. And what that does is pulls you further and further away from the person that you need to be in this life to really achieve the level of success in which you want. Because being fat is not the problem, right? I know a lot of fat guys that are great guys, but being fat has the internal problem of the self-worth, the doubt, the lack of confidence, the lack of philosophical fulfillment, everything that now a fat person now brings to the table, especially if we were to dive deeper down the line of health issues and precautions that could happen, diabetes, stroke, high blood pressure, all these things. You know, there's a lot of risks that are attached to not being in great shape. And you know yourself, like, fuck, you probably go to bed at night thinking, tomorrow is the day I change. The day I change, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to get up early, go a run, track my food, hit the gym at night, get a sauna, steam, have a great day. And what happens? That day never comes, lads. It's a little bit of a philosophy I have for you to maybe change how you're currently operating in life is make your results a now thing. Everything has to be now. If you can track your food today and lose fat today, make it a now thing. Don't make it a Monday thing, make it a now thing. If you can drink 4 litres of water today, make it a now thing. Drink it all. Drink the water. If you can go 10k steps, do the steps. Do you get where I'm coming from? It's very simple. But that urgency and intensity to act is the exact thing that now gets you above the current reality in which you're living in and thinking on a different paradigm, which allows you to shift through the gears of your own life and think in alignment with that guy that we were trying to create earlier on, that level 10 version of you, because it definitely just does come down to that. From all the guys I've worked with, it's never just, here's your macros, here's your training. It's a very small part of the puzzle and process. It's always going to be coming down and coming back to the idea and philosophy of behavior change, identity, architecture, and creating a life for yourself that you're inspired to live every single day because your actions are so congruent and aligned with living the best life you could live. So guys, that is the real reason why you're still fat. You've accepted a standard, you've accepted mediocrity, and you've accepted living a life where you choose the easy path. It's not your metabolism, it's not your diet, it's not that you had an injury 6 years ago that stopped you tracking your food and being more active. It's none of the bullshit excuses in which you like to bring to the table when having a conversation about change and growth and actually doing something about your life. It's not any of those little itty bitty bullshit excuses. It's not. It's about you accepting your current reality and setting that as a new standard and being fine with that. And to me, that doesn't cut the cheese. That's not a life I would live personally, and it's not a life any of my one-to-one clients would live themselves. So chaps, if this video opened your eyes to potentially where you could be missing, make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop a like, a comment, a share, whatever you have to do. Make sure you follow the Daily Habits at Lewis McFarlane Coaching on Instagram. I look forward to seeing you on the inside. We've got the free self-mastery course below. Make sure you check that out. It's an incredible course on testosterone, mindset, lifestyle, training and nutrition, and it will give you a really good kickstart to the next steps of your journey. I'll see you in the next one.